Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we will solve another classic lead code problem step by step so that you can strengthen your coding skills. So today we are going to talk about longest non-decreasing subarray from two arrays. In this in this question, we are going to talk about both subarray and subsequence. First of all, we are going to talk about the longest non-decreasing subarray question, and the question can another question can be similar question can be asked, which is find out the longest non-decreasing subsequence. The difference between subarray and subsequence is in a subarray is basically a contiguous non-empty subsequence of element within an array, and subsequence can be non-contiguous. Like in subsequence array can be from the element first, then third, and fifth, like this. But the subarray can be only construct 1, 2, 3, and this type of or 2, 3, 4, but has to be contiguous. So let's straight dive in. So in this question, we have been given two integer array nums1 and nums2 of length n, and we have to find out the maximum non-decreasing subarray from these two array. As you can see, we have three examples given, which is 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1. In this case, we can construct 2, 2 of length 2 as maximum non-decreasing subarray. In example 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, and 2, 2, 3, 4. There is another example is given. In this case, we can construct 1, 2, 3, 4 as maximum non-decreasing subarray of length 4. So let's dive into the solution. We will be using dynamic programming approach. So this question can be solved in a time complexity of O of n using dynamic programming. So what we are going to do, we are going to initialize two DP array with one, both of length n. And what these DP array is going to store is like DP1 is going to store longest increasing the length of the longest non-decreasing subarray when the last element is coming from nums1, and dp2 is going to store longest non-decreasing subarray length when the last element is coming from nums2 array. So that's the difference between dp1 and dp2. Now for this case, we will be having four cases. The first case is previous element and the current element both are coming from nums1 array, or previous element is coming from nums2 but the current element is coming from nums1. The third case is both of the element is coming from nums2 array, and the fourth case is previous element is coming from nums1 array and the current element is coming from nums2 array. So we will be checking these using four if statements. So what we are going to do, we are going to loop through, we are going to use a for loop iterating from I equal to 1 till the end of the, the length of the array. And we are going to initialize another variable j, which is going to be equal to I minus 1, which is just representing the previous element of the array. Now we are going to check in first if statement, we are just checking the nums1, we're checking if the previous element which is coming from nums1 and nums both of them are coming from nums1, if that value is greater than equal to the current value. In that case, we are going to increase the array by 1. The only thing that you have to note is while we are updating the dp1 array, we are increasing the dp1j value by 1. So this dp1j basically represent this is dp1j because the previous element is also coming from dp or from nums1. In the second if statement, the only difference between first and the second if statement is in this case I am increasing the dp2j value by 1. The reason being the previous element is actually coming from nums2, so we are going to use the length of the previous element which is from the dp2 value, and then we are going to increase it by 1. And then because the final element is going to be is going to come from nums1 array, so we are going to update that value in the dp1 array. I hope that makes sense. Similarly, we are going to do when both of the element is coming from nums2 array. In that case, we are going to update the current dp2 value of the array from dp2i, and we are going to take the previous element from the dp2 array as well. Now, when the current element is coming from dp2 and the previous element has came from nums1, in that case, we are going to update the dp2 value equals to dp2i comma dp1j plus 1. The reason why we took here dp1j because the previous element is coming from nums1. I hope this makes sense. So this is the only tricky part in this complete question. If you can understand this, then 100% everything is smooth. Now, finally, we are just in this two part of the code, we are just updating the maximum length, which is just maximum value of maximum length from from dp1 or dp2 or the previously whatever the value is. And finally, we are just returning this maximum value. So this is the solution for the longest non-decreasing subarray. Now let's talk about long if we would have subsequence instead of subarray, that is non-contiguous, then the code would be like this. The only difference, first of all, in this case, the time that this question would be solved in the time complexity of n square. Now, the only difference is because in subarray, we are only checking the previous element, but in subsequence, we will be checking if current value is greater than or equal to the previous of all the previous value that we have till now. So we start with the same for loop, which is iterating from I equal to 1 to n. And from the previous element, which is the j element, we are going to iterate it from 0 till the current, which is less than the current the iterator. And we are going to use the same code for updating the dp1i and dp2j, and we are going to do all of the things similar. Only the difference is this another for loop, which is checking all the previous element that we have before I. And finally, we return the maximum value that we got from this operation. That's the solution for the longest non-decreasing subarray and subsequence. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment with your thoughts or questions. Keep coding, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.